Welcome back. I've had to give up on the job of trying to remove the radius arm bush. I struggled and fought for about half an hour flat on my back, and it's not going to have it. Not today. I'm too exhausted to continue. I'm just can't. My arms have got nothing left in them, so I'm doing a much easier job. Something that's never been done before in 38 years. This. You can just tell by the sheer state of the hub that this has never been off before. This that I'm flicking off here is it's just hardened grease. It's unbelievable, really. But when there's if you saw the earlier video, you'd have seen me remove the grease nipple from the bottom here. And what happens is obviously you pack the grease in the bottom, and it spreads along, and it squirts out of the edges either side, and it's. I don't know, I'm not sure what this is here. Let's have a look. There's a hole here, I don't know what's in there. I'll have to get a smaller. But anyway, so the grease sort of squirts out, and it's obviously sort of found its way. And it just sits, and it goes hard, and it picks up muck and dirt. And there's no way this has ever been off. You know, if somebody had taken this off, they'd have at least given it a scrape down. It's, even if they only spent a minute just sort of scraping it down a bit, it just makes it far easier to handle and more pleasant to handle. So, gosh sake, it's like scraping old varnish, but it's nothing more than grease, old axle grease. So I'll get all of that off, and then I've got to. I'm waiting for the mail actually, which is going to come in the next hour or so, because I'm waiting for a delivery on the new bushes for the radius arms. So as soon as that's been, I will. I'm actually going to cycle, and I need to buy some sort of a solvent to clean all this oil and grease up, because I'm not putting it back on the car in this state. I'll scrape off the worst. And it's actually nice and shiny and clean underneath this. It's not been exposed to salts and things that have. So look at that, it's nice and shiny. So I'll just spend a bit of time, clean all the inside. Yeah, it really is filthy. And I'll clean all the outside. It's just nothing more than caked on, 37 years of caked on and dried up grease. So I'll scrape it down onto the cardboard, obviously, and then I'll just clean up the mess. But I'm not going to replace the bearings at this stage. They probably will need doing, but I don't think there's any play in them. I'll just clean them up entirely. I'll get all the rubbish out, and I'll clean the bearing itself with solvent and a brush. Make sure it's completely dry, then I'll repack it with grease and put this on completely cleaned up and absolutely packed solid with clean grease. And once I've got it scraped down and cleaned up a bit, because that actually is there's a cap here. That cap flicks out, and you can spray grease in there as well. So it certainly doesn't look like it's been out in some time. But this is just an easier job. I don't have any physical strength left in my body today to continue the fight with that bush that I've been fighting so hard. Eventually it will give way. I'm half expecting the rubber to break and leave behind the solid steel ring which is attached to the bottom of the car, and I'll need to cut that off. And I'll probably, if I can, I've got to cycle and go and get some white spirit or something to clean this up, and I'll probably come back with a Dremel tool, a tiny little cutter, because I anticipate having to cut the residue of the steel. I think I'll be able to pull the rubber off, but I just think it's going to leave the steel behind. And I can't film it now because it's just getting dark, and I just don't have the energy. So I'll sit here and I'll scrape away. Once the mail's arrived, I'll get on my bike, because the car's in pieces. I can't cycle. I can't drive. I have to cycle. Just go and pick up the bits and pieces I think I'll need. But anyway, I'm rambling here. I'm just sitting here doing this tedious job. So next time you see this hub, it'll be looking somewhat more clean and fresh, and it won't be quite such an unpleasant job to have to work on it, because it's damned unpleasant working on something in this condition. It's not nice. So when I do remove the hubs again to change the bearings, because there's bearings obviously here, then there's another bearing at the bottom, one there, one the other side. There are 3 bearings. It's just, because I'll put it back on with copper grease and it will slip off easily. It won't be the unpleasant task that you'd imagine. It's I'll just do that later. In a few months I'll come back to the hub bearings. I've got to finish the other side of the rear suspension. I've also got to do the front suspension. So if I start mucking about with the bearings as well, I'll struggle to get this job finished within 6 weeks.